Hello everyone, welcome to another session on informatics. We were discussing about the introduction to software, module 3. We were discussing about module 3 and we are almost at the fag end of the module 3. We were almost into that discussion about threats to personal privacy. Okay, I have done already 2 videos on threats to personal privacy. Now it's like, yes, we were discussing about almost all the threats to computer security. Now we are only left with one area, and that is combating security threats. How can we combat? How can we manage with these, security threats? And in the page number 189 of my textbook, I don't know about yours, they have given us a whole list of 22 ways through which we can combat personal security threats, personal privacy or security threats. They have given us an extensive list of 22 ways through which we can combat the threat. The thing is, like, you don't have to mug up the entire thing. We'll just focus on the first 5 or 6, or depending upon how much you can study, you can learn, from anywhere you can learn the points. I'll just mention about the first 5 and I'll move on to the next one. Okay, and the last section of your textbook is about antivirus software. Again, about the entire the chapter, or you can say the entire paper. What is about to tell you is like, just focus on, the major points. No need to mug up the entire textbook or the entire points, from each and every section, because it will be like very heavy for you also, because it is quite different from, our literature syllabus. Okay, so focus on the key points and then just try to elaborate them. Okay, that is what you can do. Okay, now we'll move on to a very small and short presentation. Yes, hello everyone. So in this particular session, we are going to discuss about combating security threats. How can we minimize the threats, or how can we make our systems more secure? That is what we are going to discuss. Now, in the previous session, I have discussed with you about phishing and sniffing. I hope you remember. Phishing is basically any fraudulent attempt that is in fact being made to acquire data from us, basically data in the sense any kind of our personal information. For example, you can say like, passwords, or our usernames, or you can say credit card details, in the pretext of some trustworthy entity. They'll come, they pretend as if they are a trustworthy agency, and they come and get the details from us. Very recently you might have read in news that teachers, especially college teachers, are getting a mail from their principal, from their principals, like, you have to help me out with something, I am in need of some money, like that. They were getting emails. So it was in fact an act of phishing. That is not the official email ID of the principal, but you can see that they have learned the name of the principal, and they have created a fake ID in the name of the principal, and they are asking you for the teachers for money. That is a kind of an act of phishing, you can say. Okay. Now, sniffing is like, as I've told you, it is in the form of packets of data. They are usually normally the anything that we send in internet, or you can say in that networking section, we send it as some packets of data. So they are trying to acquire such things, packets of data, and using it as for their own purposes, or you can say malpractices are happening in that line. Okay, that is sniffing. Now, when I come to combating security threats, first thing that we can, I have told you there are somewhere around 22 methods that are explained in the text, but I focus on a very few like this. First one, it's about physical security. You can, what exactly you can do is like you can keep the doors locked and install some locks or something, or locks or alarms for machines. Likewise, you can combat, a threat, a security threat. The second one is like, you can go for backups. Backup files you can keep, so that in case it gets deleted, with some because of some hackers or something of that kind, you have the backup option, and so that you can take care of that. Now the third one is about using a surge suppressor. Surge suppressor is again an electronic device that we normally use to protect the computers from some voltage fluctuations or anything of that kind. Again, something that is very technical, but you can definitely use that in your answer. Then next one is like use an interruptible power supply. Uninterruptible power supply means make sure that there is a continuous power supply so that you will not lose your data. Then the last one is like which I am going to discuss up here is periodic virus checking. You can go for a periodic virus checking so that you can ensure that your computer is protected. Now, next most important category that we have to discuss is antivirus software. This is like an important area from which you will get questions. Okay, so antivirus software is basically used to prevent, detect and remove malware. You know what do you mean by malware? Including computer viruses, there's a need of a comma, worms and trojan horses. Any type of malware, any type of any type of things that can attack the computer, from all these things, an antivirus software can protect, detect and remove them. Okay. So that is the significance of antivirus software. You just have to know what exactly is an antivirus software, and that will do. Okay, so it also prevent. Go to the next slide. Such programs may also prevent and remove adware and spyware and other forms of malware. All these names are already familiar to you, right? Because we have discussed them extensively in some of our previous videos. So you know all these terms. So it may even protect from prevent and remove adware, spyware and other forms of malware. So that is all about you can say this particular module, introduction to software, means the module 3. In page number 193 and all, they have given us a list of popular antivirus software. You can just have a quick read through all these things, and whichever is familiar to you. When you write an answer, you have to give the examples. Okay, that is important, and you can have a quick read whichever you are familiar with. You can write that. Avast is there, then Avira is there. They are like pretty popular ones. Okay, then Kaspersky Lab, that McAfee is there. Most of them are like familiar to us. Whichever is familiar to you, you can write it as an example. Mention somewhere around 3 to 5 examples for antivirus software. Okay, so with that I think we can conclude this particular session on introduction to software. We were discussing about software in the first part. As I've told you, we discussed about operating systems. Okay, and later, and in that, we talked about Linux and Windows. Okay, then we talked about free software, and later part, we discussed about software tools, and towards the end, we discussed about the threats to computer security. We discussed that also extensively. Okay, so with that, I conclude this particular session on introduction to software, and in the next video we'll start with the new module, and that is about networking. Thank you and God bless.